Oh, there we go. We got Eric coming in. What's going on, man? Can you hear me? There we go.
There it is. I
What's
had to hit,
going on?
I had to hit all the buttons.
Oh, yeah, I know. Yeah, I know it. This is weird. I was just coming on. We are recording this thing, so as soon as I fired it off, I started talking. And I'm like, well, nobody else is seeing this right now, so I'm essentially talking to myself.
Yeah.
Post it up later. It's like I've been on Zoom meetings before, but I've never hosted one, so I had no idea how the hell this would work out.
Oh yeah, it's interesting when you're responsible for it. I've had to do that a couple of times recently, and I'm mildly not even tech savvy. I'm mildly tech tolerant. Let's put it
Yeah,
that way.
I mean,
So
most of us guys here in our 40s usually are that way. I mean, we've learned to roll with it, and that's just how that goes.
yeah, man, we're born in the '70s, man. What you're gonna, what I was anyway. What you gonna do?
Yep, I was born. I think I was actually just looking. You were 74. I'm a 76er.
There you go, man. So we know how it is to have to run home when you think you're in trouble and take all the phones off the hook in the house so nobody can call.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
of course, the other thing we have in common, both born in the Carolinas.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Still live there. I still live in Johns Island in Charleston. So,
Absolutely, man. That's awesome.
yeah, man.
It's funny. Back when Shinedown was still looking for a bass player, I used to nag our Atlantic rep, Allie, at the time. And
Yep.
I used to be like, hey, they should get me to play bass. And I was always
Hey,
joking. I was like, yeah, it's not like they're going to hire a guy from Carolina. And
see,
voila.
man, see what happens. You should have been more persistent, man.
Uh,
The roles could be reversed right now.
That'd be crazy. But got the album coming out here, 3 weeks from Friday.
Yeah.
And this is the second album actually recorded in a row in Charleston now.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. And we recorded other songs there. Like I produced Diamond Eyes and Cut the Cord. Both of those were done in Charleston. But whole albums, Attention, Attention, and Now Planet Zero, both done in, well, I had my studio that I had for years was on James Island. So out near Folly Beach. Some of your listeners know where that is. I had that for 15 years, and we did, Cut the Cord and Diamond Eyes, and all the iTunes acoustic sessions were done there, and again, all of Attention, Attention. And then when my wife and I moved out to Johns, we had a piece of property, and we're like, let's just put the studio out here. So this was the first record done in the new studio. So
Nice. Is that where you are right now, or well, I guess you had to fly out the other day.
I'm in Spokane, Washington right now.
Nice.
So we're starting the tour here in a couple of days, and getting rehearsals done. We're bringing the biggest show we've done, man. Very different stage setup from anything anybody's seen from us, and we always try to give the people an experience, something different every time they come to a Shinedown show. So kudos to Zach and Brent. They're the live show geniuses. My contribution ends with music and records. So I'm glad we have people in the band who also are visually inclined to help this stuff come to life. So.
Right, and I'm very excited. It's crazy. The week you guys are coming, it's almost like the '80s all over again. It's like Greenville's in that unique spot. Well, I mean, I'm sure as you know,
Yep.
you got Atlanta, down here. You got Charleston. You got Charlotte up there.
Yep.
So it's like usually shows go to one or the other. But like in the '80s, man, like my first concert was Metallica back in '89. So
yeah, man, I remember that actually. I remember that whole thing. So what a great time, right?
Absolutely. Well, the week you guys are coming, 2 days before you're in Greenville, freaking Megadeth, Lamb of God, Trivium, and In Flames are there. And then it's like 2 days later, there's you guys. The same night you guys are in town, this was tearing me, but I'm definitely making out to that show instead. Tom Segura is going to be at the Peace Center.
Dude, Tom Segura's my boy, man. I'm gonna make him come out at the show. I'm gonna figure out some way to get him out there.
Right.
I didn't know that, man. Like, that guy, I don't know if there's anybody funnier than him right now. Like,
dude, honestly, Disgraceful is probably my favorite stand-up right now.
yeah, man.
Me and my wife, we've just got done, binging some show. We're like, what are we gonna watch now? Oh, I can't think. Some other show's about to start. How about we just watch Disgraceful, and we'll just sit there and crack up, man. I love it.
I tell you what, man, it's I watch the Your Mom's House podcast a lot, and you talk about like he and his wife, Christina P is his wife. For anybody who doesn't know, she's also a brilliant comedian, and the two of them sitting there talking to each other. You talk about like no F's given whatsoever about anything, man. That's what I love, man. It's like they take chances. He says uncomfortable things, and it's funny, and his delivery is just ridiculous, man. I love it. So I didn't know that. I'm going to figure that one out. We might have to. I don't know. Maybe we're on at the same time. That would kind of suck, you know.
Yeah, I know, right? Well, being a comedy show, his will probably start a little earlier, so you might be able to pull that off.
Yeah, man. I think I'm gonna work on that one. We had Bert Kreischer was out at a show recently, and we're good friends with Chris Porter, who's a brilliant comedian. He's always around, and Brad Williams, and we all love comedy. Like everybody in the band is way into comedy. So yeah, I'm gonna have to try to swing that one somehow. So.
Yeah, that's good. It's gonna be a killer week. Exactly a week after you guys are gonna be there. We got the Breaking Benjamin and Seether tour dropping through. I'm just like, seriously, is it the 80s all over again? And I guess I could thank COVID, because now everybody's coming out of the woodwork and everybody's wanting to make up for lost time.
Yeah, lost time and lost money. Like everybody's saying, "Let's go, man."
Yeah, which is also why it's like so many people have albums out right now. It's like, what the hell are you gonna do if you're sitting there in a quarantine? Write music.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's kind of what we did. You know, I did a record of my own material that's not out yet. It'll be out. I'll put it out in the next year or so, probably. But I did that, and then we went right into writing this record, and it was a very creative time. I built a recording studio. Like, it was just no stopping. And that, I think that was what kept us going as a band, was we just stayed busy creating, rather than, Atlas Falls, when we put that out for direct relief for charity, that whole campaign, it was just what can we do to not stop, and not so much for the brand or anything, but just for our sanity. It's like, if we can't leave really where we are, then let's make the most of it and try to be as prolific as we can and try to create as much as we can. But we actually recorded 24 songs for this record, of which 13 songs are on the record. But we'd never recorded 24 songs for a record. It was just like, let's be as busy as we can be.
Right. So is it going to be like a deluxe edition, or do you think some of it's going to make it to another record?
No, we never do that. Like, if it didn't make it on this record, nobody will really ever hear it. I mean, Atlas Falls was actually an outlier with that, because that song was recorded and produced for Amaryllis. So that song had been sitting, just not getting used for years and years. And we finally found it raised his hand in this moment. It was like, wow, what a perfect song for what we're going through.
And that's a few albums ago.
Yeah, and so we have stuff like that everywhere. Like, we have songs that we don't ever want to, we actually had this conversation with this record. We had a few things left over from Attention. And I was like, well, do we want to finish these? And I was like, no, let's just start from scratch, because you're a different person. You're in a different place. When you start a record, you have different things you want to say. Or maybe you want to say the same things, but you're more mature and you want to say them differently. And so, we just start from scratch. And so we have a lot of wreckage left, B-side wreckage left on the ground. We've talked in the past about maybe, because we're never going to do a greatest hits record. That's just not going to happen. We feel like, and this is just us, we feel like if you do a greatest hits record, you're cashing it in. Like, we're done. This is the best we've got. And we'd rather keep moving forward and creating new music than rehashing old music. Right. And so we were like, but in lieu of a greatest hits, maybe one day we'll do a B-sides or something, because just stuff that no one's ever heard, that's sitting around.
To me are more interesting than, like, greatest hits albums. I mean, greatest hits albums, and I'll admit I have a fair amount of them, because for me, that's for bands that I'm like, well, I don't love them as much to have their whole catalog, but I'll get their greatest hits record. And it's like, man, just.
Yeah, and what do you get on a greatest hits record? Well, you'll get the remastered versions of the same songs, or maybe there's another song at the end that's a remix or a remake, or it just seems like, to me and to Brent and to the rest of the band, it's like a death knell in a way of just, we don't have any, we're out of gas, we don't have anything left. And I'm not saying the bands that do that are like that. I'm saying for us, in our minds, that's the way we think about it for our band is the day that Shinedown, unless it's out of our control for some reason, but
I'm sitting here the whole time thinking, is Atlantic hearing this?
No, but well, I mean, that would be in our control. Of course we would, we have a say so. In fact, we've been asked many times and it's just not something we're interested in because we feel like it's just that's your resignation of, that's it, and we have so much more to say and so much more to do. I mean, I'm already thinking about the next record, and we just finished this one. It was the same thing on the last record. I was thinking about what this record was going to be at the end of the last one. So,
well, it's great you guys kept busy, man, because music is an escape from reality, and when you're going through a trying time that's actually shutting everything down, man, it's just it's almost like how can I say it? Like, when you take a hose pipe and you bend that thing and that pressure builds, man, you let that out, it's gonna, just all this creativity's coming.
Yeah, man, it is that, and again, it was I think everyone, for the first time in my lifetime and in your lifetime, I think the world has a shared experience. The whole world has a shared experience, and not a pleasant one. And I think everyone could kind of feel the world shifting a bit, and it was very uncomfortable. It was an uncomfortable feeling, and I think that you could sit around and stew about it and think about it, or you could get busy on something, and that is one place where creatives we're lucky, I think, during this pandemic. I mean, we as creatives, we all tend to have some sort of mental thing, it's depression or addiction or whatever, and you can channel that one of two ways in a situation like that. You can let it you can let it bring you down to a place you don't want to be, or you can use it to channel the creativity that comes from all of that thing in your brain and everything going on around you into something positive and into something hopefully beautiful at the end. So it's just not in our it's not in my DNA to stop. It's not in Brent's DNA to stop, Zach or Barry, and we just work straight through. We work straight through the whole thing. So
right, and from what I hear, Planet Zero is going to be kind of tackling some stuff that it's probably, I guess, as a result of all this, that just a way of expressing what all's happened.
Yeah, I mean, we're very at least I'll speak for myself. I'm a very centrist person politically. I'm not I vastly disagree with things on both sides, and
me too.
Yeah, and but one thing that I've seen happening is those entities kind of using, never let a crisis go to waste, and they've used this to kind of clamp down on certain things, and not just government, people as well. The song Planet Zero is about the, for lack of a better term, cancel culture. I know it's a played out term, but I can't really find a better term for it than that. And like, if we don't stop shutting down conversations with people whom we disagree, we should be able to have uncomfortable conversations with people with whom we disagree on something, and not the way I see it is if your point is so good, then you shouldn't be worried about hearing an opposing point, because you should be able to hold up on its own. Right. And it's a weak move to shut someone's voice down if you don't agree with them. And so if that becomes something that's commonplace, then in the future, we could be living in a place like Planet Zero, and that's kind of what it's a look in that direction of a potential place we could end up, if we don't stop shutting each other down. Because if you don't think that the politicians and people in power aren't paying attention to how people react to that, people are, all you have to do is tell them they shouldn't say that, and they'll shut up, or threaten them and they'll be quiet, and then you end up with a maybe an overreaching government that is in the cancel culture business, and that's just dangerous. And so that's one of the things we talk about. We talk about a lot of issues, and there's also a lot of hope on this record. There's a lot of beauty of the human spirit on this record as well, and talking about what we've dealt with and how we've overcome it, or how united we all became during this time. So there's a lot of that too. It's not this it's not this super cynical record. It's basically just a warning. I feel like the overarching what we're trying to say in a broader sense is that if we don't become better human beings to each other, right, and also stop being so tribal in our politics, amongst other things, and become more united, that we could end up in a really bad place that we don't want to be. So
Right. Exactly. And that's the thing, man. We just got to get more united, and, you know, people get so divided. And that's why I don't speak up much on politics. I'm just like, man, people get way too heated about stuff like that. But it's
again, yeah, I mean,
again, for that.
Again, you know, I will challenge everyone listening to this to not be scared to have what I call uncomfortable conversations with people, you know. And I learn so much from other people who I disagree with.
Right.
You know, the more conversations I have with people who I think I disagree with, I should say, right? I learn something from them every time. So, and a lot of the time it's something I didn't know, or a viewpoint that I didn't realize, or I hadn't thought about. And sometimes what I learned from them is that no, I'm right, you know, but that's important, because if you get too married to one thing and you forget how to think critically for yourself, and you just parrot whatever you see on the news or whatever you see on a podcast, and you don't do any research, and you like I say, you become tribal in your beliefs, that my team is right and your team is wrong. You're going to shrink your mind, you're going to shrink your world, and you're going to shrink your existence into a very small point. And the world is so much more broad than that. And you know, there's truth everywhere, but there's only the truth in one place, you know, and you have to look for the truth. And that comes from sometimes abandoning your beliefs that you've held for a long time, because the things that you believed, you find out maybe aren't what you thought they were. So it's an important thing. I feel I'm learning every day. I'm not great at it sometimes. You know, I have a tendency to go to see someone that's maybe said or done things that I don't like in the past, and just kind of, you know, shut them down in my mind a little bit, and then I have to remind myself of what I'm preaching here, you know, and give them a chance and listen to what other people have to say. So that is, in essence, that's Planet Zero. That's what it's about.
Awesome, man. I try my best not to do that either. The only time I do kind of shelter myself from people is not just because of their viewpoints, but just people that spew off a lot of negativity. Mm-hmm. I just have to kind of fly back. I don't even watch a lot of news, because I'm like, I'll watch what I need to, and just keep right on going, man, because there's so much negativity that can come in.
You know, I've found recently that I enjoy is Russel Brand. He's got he's very liberal in his social views, very liberal in his he's like a classic. He thinks in a classic liberal way, but he also holds some. You know, when it comes to politics right now, he seems to call out the bullshit of the people in charge, and it's refreshing, man, to hear, because he is again, he enters into everything going, I could be wrong. Let me know if I'm wrong in the comments. You know, he generally seems like he wants to learn and just, but you know, he's against, you know, corporate corruption and political corruption and you know, big business being tied to corporation, or big business being tied to politics and to governments, and the things that take the voice away from you and I. So I enjoy him as well. If everybody hasn't checked out his stuff, they should. It's very down the middle. You know, it's not. You know, he'll call out the Trump administration when they were in charge, and now he calls out the Biden administration. It's not about sides, you know, it's about trying to find the truth, and I enjoy that, man. So, you know, that makes me feel, and it's done from a positive place,
right?
You know, it's not doom and gloom, you know, which is nice. Like, to your point, like if you watch network news or some, you know, certain podcasts, you know, it's like, oh man, you know, I can't handle much more of this, you know. So
it just made me think of my favorite bumper sticker, man. Mines are like parachutes; they only work when they're open.
Yeah, that's it, man. You know, and again, you know, we're only really, as far as and this is gonna sound very woo woo, and maybe it is, but we're only really charged with one thing on this planet, and that's to love everyone here. You don't have to like what someone's opinion is. You don't have to agree with them. You don't necessarily have to like them. but if you enter into every interaction with somebody with love and trying to understand them, trying to understand a different perspective, someone from a different background than you, and really approach everyone from a place of love and understanding, you will find that your life changes, and you change the lives of people around you. And I feel like that's really that's what, at least I feel like I'm charged with that here, and it doesn't matter. I don't care if you are the CEO of a giant corporation or you are homeless. I don't care about your titles. I don't care about that stuff. I care who you are as a human, and going into each interaction with people with love and without preconceived notions of who they are or anything like that, so. Right.
Absolutely, man. Dude, I'm very much looking forward to the record.
Thank you.
It's only 3 weeks away, ready to check it all out, and just ready to see post-COVID Shinedown and
yeah, man. Well, we played some shows. We've done a couple of tours. It's been a blast, man. It's been a blast seeing the world open back up, and can't wait to play a home state show for me. So this will be a lot of fun.
Absolutely, man. Well, dude, look forward to seeing you. Hopefully we'll get to well, I don't know what kind of backstage area is going to be looking like, but we'll see.
Yeah, we're easy, man. I'll see you there.
All right. Sounds good, brother.
All right, brother. Talk to you soon. Thanks.
Thank you so much for doing this, man.
Yeah, of course. Thank you.
All right, man.